Hello and welcome to the Hunt Banish Extract podcast, the podcast that's like the last two brain cells fighting for third place. I am your host, the Drunken Bard, aka DJ, and with me are three of my beautiful co-hosts today, Sir Kaiser, aka Richard.
I have all three brain cells.
El Maestro, aka Colin.
I'm missing all of mine, so.
And the patron saint of 3 stars, aka Rat329.
Mom said it was my turn with the brain cell.
Gentlemen, this event has been unkind to me. I would say that it's put me in my place even. I felt the sweat more than a 1 mile jog.
Wow, yeah.
And unkind to you. To you?
Yes, it's basically bent me over and showed me the 50 states.
Sir, I am now going on 10 hours of gameplay without my 3rd star.
Wait,
This is bullshit.
the patron saint has lost his 3rd?
I'm getting it back. I'm still the patron saint because I've spent like almost 1,000 hours in 3-star.
Jeez.
No, you know what? I take it back. It's bent me over and made me recite the ABCs backwards. All right.
The last 2 weeks for me have been the same. Like when the event first started, it was great. I was making so much money, and now I can't keep it. I can't survive more than 5 minutes.
I just like spending money.
This shit has bent me over, and it's not even like spitting on it or giving the decency of a reach around. It's just spit slapping that shit and punching me right in the fucking liver.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
I think it
boys.
moved my gallbladder. I can't eat fried food no more.
So what we are. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that, like, I don't think I've been having the same experience, if I'm being honest.
So when we are entering the Bayou, boys, what are we taking? What loadouts are we taking?
Well, I'm sticking with the Sparks with the Revive Bolt with Dragon Bolt. That thing has done me some really nice wonders.
I've been thoroughly enjoying the fancy fingering perk. I mean, fast fingers.
Hey.
Colin?
I said it the last time I was on the podcast. I friggin' love the haymakers. That gun has carried me through so many encounters.
You ever do a double haymaker?
I've never done a double haymaker. I always
You
pair
should.
it with a shorty or a full-length shotgun.
And you're
More
not trying to
for the
train.
fun.
You're not trying to train yourself on anything, Rat?
No, I've been training myself on the fucking like the sparks because I'm not a great shot with the sparks, and you know the fast fingers perk is just so good.
I thought you
Oh,
were
yeah.
like the Springfield main.
I am, but I suck with
Well,
the sparks, and I want to
You,
get
you
good
should
with it.
change that and be a Sparks main because the Sparks is clearly the better weapon.
And I would, but
I mean-
I have standards.
I mean-
and the Springfield meets those.
You're a cheap bastard.
Brad, you and I have tested this, and we learned that the Martini is better than the Springfield.
Tested, or you whooped my ass and then said fucking suck it.
Both.
Nice. Is that a test on El
You were-
Maestro's skill, or is that a test on the Martini?
He was doing nothing but testing the elasticity of my butthole.
All right. Well,
Took that gun and absolutely fucked me.
Wow, we are off to a really filthy start. Okay, so I'm taking the Chukonu. Recently,
Yeah, I
I
saw
took
that.
it into a match, and I decided to take the incendiary bolts. It actually was not as bad as I would have anticipated. I anticipated getting rocked with that thing, but I took a bow with one set of frag arrows and the Chukonu with the incendiary, and holy shit. Me, Penguin, and Honk had the absolute time of our lives in one fight, besides all of us getting rezzed over and over again. But other than that, the deaths were everywhere. It was one of the best fights I've ever had, and it was at Salter's Pork.
Well, you know when you're having to revive your teammates that it's it's a good, nice, fair fight. That's for sure.
It is. I didn't die. I think I might have died once or not at all, but I had to hide just to get our team back on the map because we got pinched so fucking hard. And then the team that was on the bounty decided they needed to come last, and that was their biggest mistake because we fucking killed them. Headshot
Yeah.
with a.
When I
But the-
was watching that from the sidelines, I was like, how the fuck are you guys still alive? I was baffled.
Well, the last guy died to a hip fire bow shot right to the head too.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, absolute time of my life. Well,
Wish I could have seen that.
gentlemen, how are we feeling about the battle pass progress? Is it a little too slow? Is it about just right?
Oh,
I'd say it's about right. I mean, I haven't had too much struggle progressing.
I'd say it's a
Yeah.
little slow because I feel like I can't get to like the characters fast enough, and I feel like it just feels a little fluffed out a little bit. Like I'm taking too much time. I should be able to have a life and then come back. That's the only thing I'd say.
Running a lot of pre-Malone then.
Pre-Malone? No, I'm just
yeah,
playing
they-
other stuff.
They got two Post Malone skins, and the first one that you get, he's not the ringleader anymore, and the last one you get, he's the ringleader. So there's pre-Malone and Post Malone.
Well, technically, the first one would be Post Malone, right?
Well, no, because the second skin he gets the
It's
ringleader back.
The ringleader isn't that by the lore? He starts out as the ringleader and then he becomes a hunter.
No, he's deposed and then he becomes the ringleader again at the end of the lore.
All right.
Okay.
What are you feeling, Colin, with the battle pass?
you know, I feel like I'm not playing it enough to really have a solid idea. It feels kind of slow, but then there's also people that I've played with recently that are like, I finished it a week ago. So I think it's just that I don't play it enough to really progress.
Well, I guess the way that I would say to remedy that would be like, are you finished with all your challenges, like up to date?
The only one I haven't finished is locate target layers. And
I think
again, that's because of how trash my matches have been for me lately.
I think it rewards more frequent gameplay and punishes people who take even longer to play, which is the wrong move, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
The 200 points when you play per day, I don't like.
Oh,
that.
that's a thing. Oh,
Well, yeah, it's on the Dark Tribute. It's I think it's incentivizing people to play more often, and that's the actual opposite of what people wanted. I think it should be a relatively easy battle pass to get through, like the old ones were.
Yeah.
Whereas it's going the opposite direction. But I
Yeah,
don't want to. I don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I know you don't want to stay on this, but like essentially that I felt like the last battle pass I actually finished just by doing the challenges, and I didn't feel like I had to do anything extra and stuff like that. This one I feel like that. I just barely unlocked, I think it was Chum, and getting to that next level is just taking some time. That's the only reason why I have that opinion.
Fair.
Yeah,
All right.
and I still have like 2 or 3 things on the first 4 weeks worth of challenges to do, and I'm I think a little over halfway through, or almost 3/4 of the way through the battle pass. I'm booting now to look.
I guess I am actually pretty far in the battle pass. I'm level 41.
Well, I guess last thing I'd say is what do you think, Bard?
I think it's slow. I
Yeah.
gave my opinion. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's slow.
it's fine. Yeah, it's definitely it's too rewarding of people who play more frequently and punishing those who have lives. I don't think that's right. But kind of moving on, because we got a couple of written in things to our suggestion box, because I asked, and thank you all who contributed. I really appreciate it. But Kugi, you were saying the Shredder shouldn't remain in the arsenal after the event ends. We kind of touched on this. I absolutely think it shouldn't. I definitely think it needs to, if it remains at all, it remain as a map weapon, can't be extracted with, just like the map melee weapons. And it should have either one magazine of only the blades and no explosive blades, or just not remain at all.
Yeah,
I think we kind of touched on that with
Yeah.
that.
I was honestly surprised that it wasn't like the map melee weapons, where it replaced a slot instead. I thought it was gonna be just you only can use this, and if you want to use a different gun, you have to drop it. That's what I thought it was gonna be. So
I've got 16 levels left in the battle pass. Now, you actually were right, by the way. The first skin you get is after he's the ringmaster. The last skin you get is pre-corruption of the circus. So you're right. You get pre-Malone, post Malone. Although they missed a perfect joke opportunity. The first skin you get's called Deposed King. It could have been the Deposed Malone.
I think they wanted to
Or
avoid
maybe.
jokes as much as possible, if I'm being honest.
Probably, yeah.
The skins are kind of a joke at this point. I mean, they're literally
Yeah.
clowns.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Just
yeah,
like me.
Yeah, I think
Overall-
it's just like the shredder. I think we've already kind of slightly touched on it. Is it shouldn't be something that's outside the match unless if you wanted to bring it back to the M, you'd have to do overhaul like crazy.
yeah, it's a weapon that doesn't make any sense and is either weak as shit or too powerful.
Yeah, basically.
And then Zinth, he was asking, as Bounty Clash contributed to a better economy? Should Bounty Clash be a permanent addition? Is Bounty Clash too divisive when up, leading to a worse
Divisive.
experience? Divisive. Well, divisive. You know,
Gotcha,
tomato,
buddy.
tomato.
Just take that, Dave.
Well, boys, what do you think?
I don't think it's made a better hunt economy. I honestly think it's a worse economy, because I've ended up losing a lot more money than I've gained by doing it. Personally, I don't know. I feel like it takes a lot to really commit to Bounty Clash.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it's kind of moved certain players away from Bounty Hunt, which I think actually has helped some things, but at the same time, like, I think it might mess with a few things, but I've noticed at least my matches that they've been a little bit more fair to me. I'm not facing against people that literally bring in just Mosins all the time and crazy. But the minute I go into Bounty Clash, you see the most crazy shit.
Well, how are we feeling? Do we feel like it takes away from the player pool too much?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah,
I was
I agree.
surprised.
I don't think it takes away from the player pool, no.
And I think a lot of people just use it as a warm up, the same way I was using Soul Survivor for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of that's what I was kind of getting at, is it separates the people who really want to just like fight with the craziest stuff out there, and it kind of lets the hunting experience be a separate experience than just people that just want blood after blood.
Yeah, it's like the people that are just going for like the YouTube kill compilations just kind of hang out there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exactly what I thought. Yeah. Well, and what about it being, you know, should it be completely permanent? Should it be on weekends?
I'm okay with it being on permanent, but it should be like every 2 weeks, like kind of what we said before. And the KD should be separate, just like Soul Survivor.
Agreed.
And there's no reason why it affects your KD, because the fact that you can bring in so much bullshit into that mode, and people are literally like having to run like free hunters and then getting dogged on because somebody sees you from across the map or something.
Yeah.
Because the spawns, everybody knows the spawns at this point.
I still think they need, if they keep it at all, they need to make Bounty Clash exclusive maps, because
That would be
and
awesome.
rotating spawns. You can't keep the same spawns, or we're going to keep having the same problem. I mean,
Yep.
maybe people like that. My personal opinion, better economy. I mean, I would say it's about the same. I don't notice a huge
Yeah.
difference. I would say it's even it takes away from your money pool. It's actually more risky, which is I agree should be a good thing. Permanent edition, no, it's got to be rotating. I do think there will be times where it takes away from the player pool. It's not quite too divisive, but when the player count gets small and people just want a team deathmatch experience, it might be bad. And I wholeheartedly agree with Rat. It's just a thing there for the content creators to get kill compilations, which is easier for them, I guess.
Yeah, but that honestly, that kind of takes away from Hunt as a game, because half the thing that makes the kill so satisfying in this game is how it happens at very particular times. Like it's crucial. Like when you want to push, when you want to do this, you're going for the bounty or stuff like that.
As much as I agree with you, they clearly don't care.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing though, like the game itself has changed since alpha, when it was really important to have that slow paced, like very particular gameplay. It's changed a lot since then, and it's gotten a lot faster. Like frankly, if we were to pull like a OG hunt mode, kind of like old school RuneScape or old school World of Warcraft, I feel like people would get into that. They'd start playing, and then 90% of them would be like, "Wow, this is boring." Like a lot of the people that have been playing for 5 years or whatever, like it's changed even since I started playing from alpha.
Yes and no.
Mhm.
Because those same people are, if they are already opposed to the main way of playing, unless you're talking about mixing it up a little bit, I suppose. But otherwise, it's going to be those kinds of people drifting towards that game mode anyway, and then we
Yep.
kind of stick to the standard mode. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
complicated.
That's kind of what I was getting at with what I was saying.
Yeah, it's almost a way of like keeping the main fan base while still getting more people in, because there'll be people that'll play just for the one game mode.
Overall, I think we all agree it should stay permanent at the very least.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it should
yeah,
still
definitely
make
needs
it
to stay in the
smart.
game.
Just separate it from the main game a little bit.
Absolutely. But I love this question. This is probably my favorite question from Sway. What traits are nearly useless and should be removed or collapse into other traits? What are your must-haves? And start wherever you want, boys.
Mm.
But okay, let's start on our must-haves. That's our bread and butter.
Must-haves.
Anything that negates certain type of damage, like bleed, poison, and fire. Like those are must-haves. Bulwark is
Yeah.
a good one that I like to take as well. It has that thing with the bomb lance thing though now, which is kind of annoying, but
I would honestly love to see physician and doctor combined into one trait.
Hell
Yes.
fucking no.
What?
it'd
Hell
be too
no.
powerful.
Too powerful, agreed.
Mm-hmm. It'd have to cost like 15 trait points at
Then
that
do
point.
that.
And I like having physicians separated so I could have a trait that's not exactly too strong while also having something that will negate burn, heavy bleed, and other things faster while also only using one med kit. I disagree with that entirely.
Yeah, because even though it like condenses things down, like it's the idea that like isn't physician the one that makes it faster to bandage, and then
Correct.
doctor is full, like your full health. Like if you don't have doctor, you only do a couple bars or one bar.
You do 50 bar, or you do 50 health with
Yeah.
doctor. I believe you do like 130.
So basically, when you combine the two, then I mean, why combine the two when if we're talking about you make it 15, doctor is already at 9, and I think physician is at 5. You're basically the same price anyways. So what's the point of combining the two other than putting it onto one slot? And also with the slots, when you minimize the amount of slots you need, that means you have this much more power for basically your gain amount type of thing. Like during these events, like crack shot and different things like that, super powerful traits make you have to decide and think about how do you want to build this
And
hunter.
Exactly, and it taking 2 trait slots instead of 1 is really essential because we need. That's kind of why some of these traits aren't collapsed. Is we definitely need ones that take slots, especially when they're important. Because if we had, fucking doctor and physician together, that's one trait. Maybe a really expensive one, but one that would be way too beneficial. We don't need
Well, I
people
think it
wasting too many
was,
traits.
wasn't it like Iron Eye was a few different traits?
It
was
was,
3
but
separate traits.
that's different because that
No,
was
yeah,
taking
yeah.
a one problem and collapsing it.
Same
Yeah,
thing with
Exactly.
exactly.
pain
It's a
sense. It used to
different
just be
thing.
poison sense, and then they added to it.
Yeah, I was just more of like an example of a good way of doing it was Iron Eye. Like you're basically taking things that do the same thing on different guns and just condensing it down to one trait because it makes it so it's just like this is more universal. We want people to take this trait and not necessarily have to be like, well, I want this and this and this, and I want to be able to flex my guns a little bit.
All right, boys, what are you thinking? Must-haves.
Well, speaking of Iron Eye, that's definitely one of my must-haves. And Resilience. Those I always find myself bringing those two pretty much every single time I play.
What about you, Rat?
Fucking Conduit and Vulture. And lately it's been Vulture and Witness. Like those two I have to have at all times. Honestly, I'd like to see Witness get combined into Vulture because at least then Vulture feels as good as it used to.
I will at least agree with that one because I don't think Vulture's overpowered, and I would even think if it remains separated, it should be 1 point. I think 2 points is a little bit silly.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
trait.
like, the name Vulture, like they're actively seeking out dead bodies. Why wouldn't it highlight dead bodies?
Makes sense. And for me, my must-haves are absolutely physician, surefoot, doctor if I can, but it's almost always too high if it's a first match.
Uh-huh.
And I would say probably Dauntless, because Dauntless I'm frequently trying to bait their teammates, burning them, taking out their choke bombs, taking out their explosives. Dauntless is completely underrated. 1 point, so fucking good.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Good.
I've got a couple that I actually think are pretty essential for me. Well, not necessarily essential, but like
Didn't you already
something
say
that I
yours?
always do. I said I was giving examples type of thing. But essentially like resilience. No, not resilience. Quartermaster. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Quartermaster is nice because I always like those random things like a bomb lance with like a Mosin type of thing.
Yeah,
And that thing slaps.
I do enjoy me a Quartermaster from time to time.
As far as ones that need to be collapsed or absolutely removed, Blade Seer needs to go. I don't think, especially with the addition of the Blade Mancer, I think Blade Mancer just needs its damage removed and then the Dark Sight taking it all back. As long as it's an expensive trait, I'm okay with it if it does no damage on pullout.
Yeah.
Because I sincerely think that Blade Seer is never used. I think Decoy or Resupply is also never used, but it exists for a certain thing, and it is good in that certain thing, and I'm okay with it existing. Adrenaline is useless. Adrenaline needs to go or be combined into determination and never seen again, because even most people don't take determination because stamina shots are so plentiful.
Hell,
Uh-huh.
even just combine it into fucking Magpie.
If that, yeah, but I mean, it's so weird. A lot of these 1 point traits, besides Dauntless could be more expensive. Dare I say? I won't say that because I love that trait being cheap.
I'm not saying it, but I am. But I'm
Well,
not.
I'm saying it's worth more than it actually costs.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
Whispersmith, I past certain MMRs, I don't think, or in the higher MMRs, it's useful, but most people that are in higher MMRs don't care for that subtle noise because a lot of the times they found each other anyway, and it's a standoff.
I
So
like Whisper Smith because it like anything to quiet my hunter is better because like the voice is so generic at this point.
I want fucking Blade Seer to be combined into Assailant. Like that thing's whole thing is about throwing knives and throwing axes.
okay, I actually like that. If it's going to exist at all, that might as well be a thing.
Yeah, like add it into there. It increases melee effectiveness, and then like you can throw like they already put Tomahawk into it. I can throw Blade Seer in there as well.
But Richard, the Whispersmith does not do anything about the hunter voice. It's
Yeah,
only switching equipment.
I what I was trying to say is that as I was looking at it is that you also the less noise the better, in my opinion. Like it's Silent Killer is the one I was
Collapse
more
it into.
referencing.
Yeah.
You could collapse it, but I was trying to think about balancing if that really would affect a lot.
I don't think so.
It
Silent
should cost
Killer.
more if you did do that, though.
Silent Killer is already not seen as a really high tier trait because, like I was saying, a lot of where it would necessarily be the most effective in higher MMRs, a lot of the time they don't necessarily need it because once they know their location, they're locked on.
Yeah.
And then it's all about subtle. Anything that affects the footsteps, that is God tier. God tier.
Definitely. That's why
Yeah,
Surefoot is so good.
In my lobbies, Lightfoot, fucking Whispersmith, and Silent Killer with a bomb lance is the most fun I have ever had.
Oh yeah, sneaking around. Absolutely. And I know a lot of people were mad about I already said my piece about the levering going up and the fast fingers going up. Those ones with faster things, they should cost more. I disagree with people who think otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, the
Agreed.
game's about being slow and methodical, so.
They should get rid of Mithridatist. I don't think that it has a good purpose because Antidote Shot does what it does, but better. And only having the time is pathetic. Make it 75% if you want that thing to matter at all.
And frankly, while we're on Mithridatist, fucking combine that with Bloodless and Salveskin and make that trait like 6
No.
points.
No, because
No,
then
same
that's
thing we were
exactly
talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, we do not want traits that collapse too far. If you give a 1 catch, then he's immune to everything. It needs to take up these slots. That's the
I have
point.
He's not
perfect
immune though. Bloodless
a
just puts you to
perfect
light bleed
example.
instead of heavy.
Yeah,
Fucking
sure, but
Salveskin makes you burn a little slower.
I have
you're
a
not
perfect
understanding
example of that.
Okay,
Like,
sure.
you remember the event where there was fire around the forests?
Yeah, the event where everybody was completely immune to fire. You're still burning.
Because you combined bleed, was it poison, all this other stuff.
Yeah, it was complete
you combined it
immunities,
into
though.
one thing. That's what I'm saying. If you combine one trait into that, that means you are buffing that immunity.
It's that was giving it complete immunities. Have it remain the way that it is. So instead of heavy bleed, you go light. Instead of fucking being poisoned for 10 seconds, you're poisoned for 5, and fucking you burn a little slower.
No. Disagree. It should take up 3 of those slots. 3 immunities, or 3 partial immunities that you need, 3 slots. You need to, if that's the case, then I could take Physician and Doctor in those places and then have all that room. No way.
Yes,
That's
the
part of the
idea of
doctrine.
that taking up the slots makes you have to think about your loadout. And that's why if you combine 3 major ailments into one trait, I feel that would just be, that's literally just making it so you can survive it. And that's why I give the example of that fire event is because it negated damage, whether it's invincibility towards that or whatever. It's the fact that it still does something similar. That's why I gave that example.
Well, and if you want to talk about one of the ones that could be collapsed into the others, I would say Hornskin. It's weird that there's not a slash version of Hornskin. Not that I want more immunities, but Hornskin is already mostly useless. It's used as grunts not hurting you as much, if you use it at all. 3 points for it is silly. The fact that Hornskin is really even here is silly. Collapse that into anything else, and I'd be fine with that. Bulwark, for example.
There is a slash version of it though. It's called Bloodless.
No, because it does not minimize the amount of damage that a slashing weapon does. That is what Hornskin does. It minimizes the damage that Bat and Knuckles do, and Sledgehammer, except you will die no matter what. Sledgehammer does too much damage. That is why it exists. And I still disagree. I don't think that negated damage really needs to exist in that form anyway.
Whenever they added a trait, they definitely had a reason to add it. It's just when you move up to where they're getting, that's where the complications come. And that's what I was talking about, like, make your base game, like, like, make it, what's the word? Project Hell. That's all I'm trying to say, is basically make everything cost a certain way, and then your events add the flavor,
Sure. But yeah, no, Sway, great question. That will probably exist for as long as traits exist.
Wait. I didn't get to say mine.
Okay.
This is a controversial take. Martialists should not exist. I hate that it exists.
We've all said that since it came out.
Yeah.
Have we? Okay, sick. Yeah,
Martialist.
I hate that there is a trait entirely devoted to just one melee weapon. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think there's like one or two of those traits that are very conditional. And that's why we're trying to figure out which ones are, collapsible. And Martialist is very conditional, obviously. It's towards one weapon.
Is that your only one that you want to add for those kinds of things?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. All right, but yeah, great question. And then Kit, you were saying that you had an idea for a game mechanic that they talked about, or you were talking about when waiting for other players, was talking about adding stuff for when the bounty vanishes on the other side of the map, so that you have an objective and fun while not getting a chance to fight the bounty. Your idea is basically when there's a small timer and there's clues that you can teleport to the actual bounty through them at the cost of burning a bar or something like, a sacrifice of some kind. That is interesting. I like
getting out of it,
Well,
People are just gonna trap clues if that's the case.
Okay, sure, but like, what are you getting? The point is you get nothing. The point is you lose. But as an interesting concept, burning a bar is probably the only acceptable thing I would say, and I would have to disagree with this. I like it as a concept, but it speeds the game up even more, and part of the thing of hunt is having to traverse through all the dangers to get to the bounty. It can be completely unfair if they spawned on it and leave, but it speeds up hunt too much. I don't personally like it, but I like the idea. It's a neat idea.
Is he talking about like portals from the clues to
portals
like, the
to
boss?
the clues, from the clues to the boss? That's exactly it.
See, the way I read it was like from the clues to the clue in the compound where the boss is.
Well, that's still to the boss.
But still, that's yeah. I mean, when I was talking about it, like pulling them through, it was because they were seeing through the eyes of the bounty target. So
yeah,
I mean, it would be. I guess it would work more like a window, but even then, like it's like a porthole to a roof. I don't think it would really do super great.
I mean, it's kind of like a hard mechanic to even do because you're creating a whole new environment within something that kind of like, unless it's like a split second that you like travel through the clue to the boss, but at the same time, the hunt's whole shtick is basically I'm running to this to beat people or to kind of steal it from them or something.
Well, and if it's from clue to clue, that's going to be a total fucking mess because enemy teams will appear in the
Yep.
same clue you do.
Yep.
Absolute nightmare. No thanks. But like, I
Yeah.
get it. I would guess it would put you in the vicinity in a random spawn thing. I still disagree.
For some
Yeah,
reason, when I was first reading it, I thought it was something about like you, and I don't know why I thought this. Now, listening to it, you talk about it, like basically, I understand now. But it sounded like you would essentially kill the boss and you would banish it, and then there would be this weird side objective that you'd go through the boss and stuff like that, like a portal to the other side at the boss lair. And that's what I was thinking, and that's why I was just like, what are we gaining out of this?
Yeah, it was more of like you just teleport. The way I'm thinking right now is like how he's describing it is you'd teleport to basically like a bounty clash boundary around the boss target. So
Uh-huh.
every game would just turn into bounty clash.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't like it as like a teleporter. That's why I thought of it the way that I thought, because like
Well,
some side objective to do after you kill the boss, so you're not just waiting for forever
It would
to let it vanish.
it would still be optional, right? Like it's not like you're forced to go through it. You burn a bar. I like that concept if it exists at all. You burn a bar to go through it, but still, I just think it takes away from the advantage that the team has that spawned on it. I know that's not a fair advantage, but that's kind of the point. Is hunt is unfair, and you have to work
Random.
against that.
Yeah.
What are you
You know-
thinking, Colin? Oh, sorry, Rat. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, imagine you're sitting there happily just fucking banishing this boss, and then Rocta fucking appears, just materializes at the edge of your compound.
Not in our lives.
I would be
thank God.
terrified.
Well, what are you thinking, Colin? You haven't really spoken up.
I think it's pointing out. I don't think that that's a mechanic that one is super realistic and two adds a little bit too much complication to an actual boss layer fight.
The way
It's
the
just
game
it's just too
thing, right?
it's just too much. Yeah, but I think he's highlighting a bigger problem to the game of there's nothing else to do in a map if the bounty does extract all the way on the other side of the map or banished on all the way on the other side of the map. There's barely anything else that you can do to make up for XP
Well,
loss from that.
Maybe that's an idea. Maybe the boss has to banish already, and then you can only like do it like from one compound to the next, and you go from one clue to the next. You don't go directly to the bounty. Now, granted, that bounty could be literally right next to where you're at, and it'd work just fine just to walk. But at the same time, it's just like that time frame that DJ gave, basically, that they were there first, they killed the boss, they're working on it, so that's kind of how the game's set up.
Well, and that's kind of the whole gimmick of Hunt Showdown is the desperation to get one
Uh-huh.
goal or two, if you will, if there's two bounty tokens.
Yeah.
And that's the premise of Hunt. That's kind of a sorry you didn't get it, but you weren't lucky this time, and that's kind of what creates the appeal. Because if I could stay and get X amount of Hunt dollars, we don't want too many things that give you too much money because that's going to create an environment where everybody has crowding kings and motions, and whether or not you can achieve that, not every hunter will achieve that. No matter what people say, I think that it's punishing enough to keep that from happening. And if it happens in the upper elos, well, that's kind of where the good players are, and they should be rocked by those weapons, right? Because whether or not it's quote unquote fun, sorry guys that are up here, it's just the reality that we have the most money, Hunt dollars, and we will suffer for it. We just will.
I see. I'm fully on the side of let's remove almost all of the more magical elements because the whole point when the game came out was that it was a low magic setting. Like there wasn't very much magic in this world, and they kind of just slowly added more after Necro.
I agree because I feel like Darkseid is getting way too much in the realm of I'm a wizard and less in the realm of I can see the portals to hell. You know, that's kind
Yeah,
of what
it
it was
was
always intended as.
it was meant to be like you have almost no magic, and it should have like it was supposed to be no magic, but then they added Necro, and you're trying to fight this basically like infinite magic power that's corrupting the Bayou.
Absolutely. All right, gentlemen, what are we feeling like? Unless anybody has any final thoughts on this particular subject, Kit, I think it's a great suggestion. I just think it won't work. That's the number. That's the only thing.
Yeah, mechanically and stuff like that. I'd agree.
Okay. So what I was thinking when I was brainstorming, there's a lot of complaints about Hunt because we were already host to a few episodes where we decided to go a little too ham on that subject.
Yeah.
What is something that people talk about and they complain about and you feel like it's exaggerated or even invalid? Like it just simply people talk about it and maybe it's not a problem at all. Boys?
Interesting question. I would have to go to my memory
right.
banks and find something out.
I
I'll,
think
I'll, oh, go
I
ahead,
think,
Rat.
I think both, and I'm gonna catch flack for this, and I know it.
You're wrong.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. Go on.
But I think that just how broken the game is, or how bad the game is overly exaggerated. Like a lot of people that play the game and that have been playing the game for, 3,000-4,000 hours, they're over exaggerating just how like bad the game has become. Like just look at the negative reviews right now. Even 90% of them, it's all over exaggerations, and how bad the UI is. I'm not saying it's not bad, but it's not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Yeah, you're gonna get flack for that.
I know I'm
No,
gonna catch flack for both of them, but I'm just
I
saying I
agree.
don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be.
I do agree.
I agree.
I think that people that complain about this game, I understand where you're coming from, and we understand that it's from a position of critique, not necessarily hate, but
Uh-huh.
you kind of are overly bitching. And yeah, the UI, the way I look at it is the UI is going to slowly get better over time, but we should give our feedback. Just maybe don't drop negative reviews for it.
Yeah.
Whereas the
Well, that's
rest
not a
of the game,
critique necessarily. Just dropping a negative review just because they changed something. Now I would say you can dislike it, but for you to like have that many hours and then you suddenly are just like this is a trash game. I'm changing my positive review to negative. It's just like that's not how a critique works.
you
It's
think? Oh, go ahead.
like I understand most of the critique is coming from a place of love, like you want to see the game be better, but it also seems like that old man who's pissed off at the world because everything's changing and nothing's the same. It seems a lot like that.
Fair. Well, okay. So one that I'm definitely going to catch flack for, and like you think you're going to catch flack, I legitimately think that this is the silliest thing that was ever complained about, and it was complained about a lot. Snipers. I think all of those people that complained about snipers and bitched about dying to snipers, I think it's baby talk. I think that you're not positioning yourself correctly. You're leaving yourself in an open position. If one teammate gets down to a sniper, sure, I get it. That sucks. But that guy positioned himself well. And if you go for the res and he snipes you too, well, you're an idiot. First off. Second off, I think that it's a valid playstyle and it's an extremely difficult one, especially if people are rushing you. If you keep dying to snipers, you obviously are a bad player. I'm sorry. That's just a reality. And I don't get why it's a complaint, especially in a game like Hunt where it's so risky and he has to play so far away. where he may not get the advantage to run and hold the position to hold that teammate unless they're only sitting in the scope out in the open, and in which case he deserves that advantage. I think you're babies. Sorry. I do.
So
And I would say you're going to catch a lot of flack there, but I fully agree. So,
So, what do you say to like you're literally just like running across the map? You're not even in the compound anywhere. You're just kind of like going about your day. You've been careful. You haven't set up too many sound traps, and then all of a sudden you're just headshot.
Sucks,
it
but he
sucks,
was in
but
the
it
right
happens.
place, right time, and he knew where to look.
Yeah, right, wrong place, right time. That's exactly how it is. That is more of like the thing that I would say is a frustrating complaint versus what you're talking about when you're pushing literally a sniper at a compound who has good position. And
Same
stuff.
thing pushing in a compound and there's a shotgun around the corner. Sucks, but it happened.
Well,
Yep, be
it's
careful.
like it's like there's frustrations and then there's legitimate problems with the game. Getting killed with a sniper at any point, yeah, it sucks and it's a frustration, but it's not a problem with the design of the game.
Of course not. That's why I think it's one of the most complained about things I hear about, and it's not a problem with Hunt at all. I think that's just how video games really show what like skill differences. And I'm not saying sniping takes a hell of a lot of skill, but it takes more than a shotgun.
It takes more than it used to. Let's say that.
Especially now. Well, I'm curious. Do you have anything particular, Colin?
I know that I'm gonna catch flack from all of you guys from this, and probably other people as well. But I genuinely never saw an issue with Necro. Necro never bothered me. I never thought that it was overpowered, and I honestly don't think it needed to go through as many changes as it's gone through. I think it was fine the way that it used to be.
Same. Although I will say Solo Necro was annoying as hell, and that's why I used it.
Yeah,
Well-
I like. Oh, go ahead, Colin.
I'm just I Solo Necro I think was totally fine because you bring Necro at the cost of you come back each time with less and less health. It was very much like I felt it was a balanced give and take.
Yeah,
you get more chances at life, but you also have less life to give.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
agree with that. I'm just saying, like, the main argument I was seeing with Solo Necro is that it was annoying, and I mean it was. You had to
Boo-hoo.
sit on the body for a while, but I mean it wasn't bad. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean it genuinely it rewarded people who were patient and punished people who weren't.
I mean
Oh,
now we
absolutely.
have instant Necro on a stick.
Well, I like the aspect of Necro that makes it so that you recover all your bars. So as a solo, you get a full try again, and it allows them to take 3 big bars, which is actually a huge advantage in some regards, especially like fire ammo not burning off at 25 accidentally, or even Dragon's Breath. So it does have its advantages, but I was always kind of the opinion that a burn would make it more viable. Because the biggest problem with Necro wasn't solos, in my humble opinion, it was teams. Teams over and over and over again, just hitting E was such a pain in the ass. Them taking it away from rezzing teammates over and over again in trios was a godsend. I was so sick of it. Res bolts, I mean, you at least have to aim the fucking thing. I'm not saying it's balanced. I still think res bolts have some tuning, but it's old Necro was so toxic in trios, so toxic. And then I believe that Kaiser kind of stepped away for a second. I will get his opinion on that in just oh no. Do you have something that you want to say, like a particular?
I'm trying to think because the thing is about a lot of complaints. There is some validity to all of them.
Of course.
So, I mean, I'm always very critical of things, like critical, not cynical. But essentially, like, it's hard to get something that's. I mean, I will say, like, the bugs in the game, I feel are a little exaggerated. That's, I think, something that I will say. Now that I think about it. But it depends on your system, depends on that sort of stuff. The game breaking bugs I have not had so much, but I know like switching to a different UI and all that sort of stuff, you're bound to get some sort of issues. Like,
They're not as game breaking as the ladder glitch or the dead body one, for example.
yeah. So
That was crazy.
That's the one where they like follow you around
Yeah.
as a dead body. That was the funniest thing I've ever
Un-
seen. I don't even care who you are. If you're not
Unkillable.
laughing at that,
Wait,
you are
what?
not.
Oh yeah,
Very
they
old.
would like latch onto the person that killed them and just follow them around. It was funny as hell.
What the
They,
crap?
they were basically being haunted by their sins.
Well, because they would follow them as a body, and I think they only had the melee tool or something, but they could
Yeah.
literally
Yeah,
they could
they're
still
just sideways.
and they couldn't extract or anything. They were still considered a corpse, but they could kill their killers. It was crazy.
That's
Kill
insane.
them? I thought they could just talk to them and VoIP and stuff like that.
That I'm not sure of.
They
but
could, and they were basically just being haunted by their sins. It was hilarious.
absolute ridiculous.
But yeah, I know that some people really experience those game breaking bugs and it kind of ruined their experiences. But like, that's maybe time for you to like put it down, take a moment, be like, okay, how much do I really like this game? Is it enough to keep trying? Is it enough to wait for them to fix it? Obviously, there's some things that's just like, that's unforgivable, but you know, how much do you really care?
Absolutely.
It's like I was saying, like I'm not saying that the bugs aren't there and that they're not a problem. Like trades, I don't think are as big of a deal as people made
Oh,
them
but
out
that's
to be.
bullshit. I'm just
No,
kidding.
again, it
I'm
was a
messing with you.
frustration, and yes, it was an inherent flaw with how the game was coded, but it's not as big of an issue as they've been made out to be.
I felt
So-
it's worse. I think me and Bard both have experienced that. But that being said, this is kind of an opinion question too.
Yeah, it's like
Absolutely.
the bugs are present, the game breaking bugs are there for
Mhm.
sure, and they are an issue, but they're not as huge of a deal as they've been made out to be, like in the reviews and all of that.
Yeah. Do they still have the meathead glitch?
That
The
I
one that
actually
can
do
get
not
you
know.
banned?
Oh, the
I
one that
d-
you could jump on top of them and get launched
Yeah.
into the fucking stratosphere? I think they patched that out. Like
I
within
would
a
ho-
week of it happening.
I would sincerely hope so. Rat, I gotta step away just for a moment. Would you get our comments and our poll, please?
Yep, let me pull them up.
And feel free to add anything after if I'm not back right away.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get
pull
some
those
elevator
papers out.
music, some shit talk on Bard. Uh,
Only thing I'm thinking of is the Jeopardy music. I can't give like you. I couldn't give you some regular elevator music. I could just do 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 do.
I mean, at this point, it's one and the same, isn't it?
I don't know. Does anyone watch Jeopardy anymore?
And I haven't been on an elevator that plays music in ever.
That's true.
Pepperdy.
Bring back elevator music.
That's it. We're ending every episode from now on with elevator music.
It's elevator music brought to you by Hunt Showdown. The kind of elevators will we crank.
Just bring in like Hit or Hazmat or somebody just to say brought to you by HBE.
Why would we need them when we got me? I'm just kidding.
This is true. You do have like
This
these
is
silk
about me.
voice.
No, I'm just kidding.
I went on for like 10 minutes in Kit's podcast about how I want to make a bed out of your voice and sleep in it.
That's just kind of how it goes, you know. Do you have the questions up?
I've got the poll up right now. So
Okay,
it
let's start
says I pulled it up right as I said that. So
that.
it said, how do you feel about the Battle Pass rewards for Murder Circus? We had 1 vote for amazing. We had 2 votes for good. We had 3 votes for not bad, basically just on the fence, and nothing for eh.
Okay, so people don't hate this event, at least when it comes to cosmetics and stuff.
They don't hate it, but it's no, it's no Trader's Moon.
Which one was Trader Moon again?
That was the one that had the 2 branching event paths where like you could choose either the throwing axes or the hunting bow.
Oh, that was the ones that introduced the Native Americans.
Yeah, and that I mean everybody like everybody
Wait,
goons over that fucking
wait,
event.
wait. I thought that was Light the Shadow.
Or
It
yeah,
was
Light the Shadow. Light the
yeah,
Shadow.
that's the
Crater's
one.
Moon was part of that trio of events.
I think
Okay.
Crater's Moon
It was Crater's
Oh.
Moon was what, like shortly after
Yeah.
the Scrapbeak event?
Yeah, I
Fair.
think so. I mean, Light the Shadow was like I think right after Scrapbeak, if I remember right, because
Yeah,
I
I
think
believe
Light
so.
the Shadow was when Dassault came out.
It was early 2023, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I could have no, it was shortly
2022.
after, no, it was shortly after Scrapbeak, which was 2020.
Are you positive?
2020.
I am absolutely positive.
Hmm.
All right.
Because
Well,
the
we
Scrapbeak
still
event
or
was the first event that I
2021, I'd
played, and I
say.
started playing in 2020.
don't forget, everyone. We have a 100 of the past episode coming up. We'll get our facts there. All right. Comments.
The comments from Martin, aka Kit. Love the event so far. The bear is a legit challenge, which is nice. More free roaming, difficult monsters to mess us up during PvP, please. Crytek. I say the bear's not a challenge if you play it the way I play it.
You mean with a nitro?
I mean,
Just
I still
kidding.
shit my pants when that thing chases me, since all the fights
Yeah.
are there and the bear's usually still alive.
I just light my sticky bomb and run at it.
It's really hilarious when the bear literally walks out of the circus tent and then literally still follows you through the forest, and you're just like screaming. You're like, "There's a bear on me!"
Also,
Yeah.
did you,
What the hell?
Rat? Did you make sure to do the all the love part? Big Goose 7181.
I haven't gotten to that guy yet.
Oh wait,
This was
I thought you were
Martin.
talking about the bear.
No, the bear was yeah, they both mentioned
was-
the bear.
Oh wait, really?
Oh, we have
No,
a double
more
bear
free roaming,
comment?
difficult monsters. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Martin said, "Love the
I
event so
misread.
far, bear the God."
That's okay. I'm
No,
ahead of the curve.
I mean, yeah, we're ahead of the curve, and since you both mentioned the bear, I fucking love Yogi and Boo Boo. They're awesome.
Joshua Harris 87, new commenter. Thank you so much. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Love the content as always. Apart from the PM on every gun, the event is ace. When that bear runs, I actually shit my pants. All the love, Big Goose
PM on every
7187.
gun.
I hope you get I hope that you got underwear for Christmas. If you're shitting your pants that much.
If it doesn't have a PM, you didn't get the correct underwear.
Pissed myself. That's what PM stands for when it comes to the bear.
Hey, Colin, our second head on the bear. Are you still there? You still alive?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
He's just talking to his other half.
Absolutely
Mine
fair.
other half.
And we can't possibly forget Kit. Hey, Kit, thank you for posting another episode. Kisses.
Love you, kid.
Kisses. And since it seems to be like a running gag, fuck you, kid.
Wow.
Much love.
Goddamn. You treat him worse than you treat me, and that's saying something.
Fuck you. I love you.
Yeah, I haven't been shitty enough to you lately. You're right.
It's
I'm
clear
just
that this
But
abusive relationship isn't abusive enough.
but I do agree with Josh Harris on the PM on every gun. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's the Post Malone event, but like, if you have 15 PMs on one pistol, Jesus fuck.
blame Crytek for that.
Well-
Don't blame Post Malone.
Oh no,
It's
I don't
ex-
blame Posty at all. But like, fucking 15 on one silenced pistol. If you dual wield that shit, you got 30 Post Malones on you at all times.
Like, it's like how much do you love this guy? Like, really? Do you have to like create all your artistic value into
Well,
basically
one of
being
the
like, Posty, does this look good to you? I'm so glad.
one of the
even
biggest sins. Oh, go ahead, Rhett.
just not even mentioning if you use the buzzsaw charm at the end, that puts it to 34 Post Malones on you.
Well,
You're right.
what I was going to say is one of the biggest sins is not making his either his skin or his gun skin have the sunflower on it just for the memes.
Yeah, fucking why?
Hey.
Put that shit on the
This is
crown,
more
shorty.
than sunflower. He's a
Yeah,
country artist now, right?
Put that shit on the crown, shorty, and have it coming up on like the little hunchback on it. That'd be fucking awesome.
Oh god.
Too late now.
But I will
or even like put it on the aperture scope for the aperture 18 or 1865 carbine. Have like the little sight be the middle of the sunflower. That'd be fucking great.
I can't stand the thought of any more celebrities in the game. I want the hunt to be centered around itself, and I do not want any more
Yeah.
outside influence.
Amen.
Now we need Snoop Dogg's Insult Carnival.
Clearly.
It's another carnival. Jesus Christ. Circus now the carnival.
All right, Rat, do you got any particular subject for us?
I had one, but we got talking about so much shit. I completely forgot what it was. Oh yeah, I had it. Oh, 1 second. There's some setup for this.
All right. Drum roll.
Carry on with everybody else's for a moment. I'll go second.
Okay. All right. I'm imagining that Colin didn't quite come with one, so Richard.
All right.
Colin,
am
just think of
ready.
one. All right.
All right. There will always be new journeys, new horizons, new acquaintances, new frenemies, new partners, new loves, new laughs, new critiques, and of course, new guns. But one thing is for sure, how you choose to approach your next adventure. So, with that all said, what are your ideal routines, self-cares, and or goals at the start of the new year to keep you in tip-top shape and give you an edge against all odds in the Bayou and Mammon's Gulch?
And Mammon's Gulch. Well, for one, I can't fucking aim anymore, so there's that. I need to aim. And I also need to remember to take the proper consumables, because sometimes I'll take the ones from last match and then I don't have any fucking shots. So a little reminder to the skull to me would be nice. Gentlemen, what are you thinking?
I think I rely too heavily on shots, and I need to make sure I keep a slot free for a piece of dynamite or something that I can flush people out with.
Amazing. Rat?
I'm perfect. I don't have any flaws.
Now, enjoy your 3 stars, bitch.
No, I
2 stars.
Oh my God.
Shots fired.
hey, you can suck both my stars, okay?
I already got
Gladly.
mine to suck on.
Gladly.
No, I think I need to remember my consumables.
Oof.
I bring in consumables, and if it's not 3 shots, I never use them. So like, and then I die, and I'm like, oh fuck, I had 2 frag bombs, a fucking beetle, and a dynamite bundle. What the hell?
Right. And as far as Mammon's Gulch, I'll try to remember to bring kite skin and not die.
Good answer.
What are you thinking, Richard?
Well, usually I just take some creatine powder, some protein powder, and take a nitro, and then we're all set.
Protein powder. Wow.
Gotta be
that-
shredded to take the recoil on that nitro, right?
Are you
Well,
over there dry scooping?
We got not just 1 cup of protein powder, we got 2 cups of protein powder, not just 2, we
Cups?
got 3, and then we're gonna add to those cups some more protein powder.
Well, my right arm's already getting plenty of exercise. I don't think it needs the protein powder to make it even worse.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
technically that was a mouse and keyboard joke, so.
Oh my goodness. All right, right. You got your subject, or should Colin go next?
I have Colin go next because I need to fucking figure out what the
All
hell's
right.
going on with this.
No,
All right.
please. I haven't thought
So-
of anything yet.
Okay, well, I'll bring up a random one just to help you guys out. So, as far as things that are maybe on your shit list in this kind of event, like things that maybe you think need tuning, maybe not overpowered, but need tuning. I mean, I immediately think of Blade Mancer, and I also think of the Sparks pistol silenced. I know that sounds crazy because it's just a pistol, but having more silenced, especially something that overrides something like the Nagant silenced, is pissing me off, and I've been abusing that thing. I have been abusing the fuck out of that thing because it's so good. What do you guys think? What do you think could use at least a little tuning? I think the Sparks pistol silenced shouldn't receive the buff of the reload speed. Maybe that's harsh.
I don't know that I agree with it shouldn't receive that buff, but I I had something and it just went away. Gosh dang it.
I think the melee variants of the weapons are too cheap. It's like 10 more hunt dollars for Martini and Martini Riposte. Why take a regular Martini at all, especially when the Martini Riposte does so much damage to bosses? And same thing, Romero Compact, Romero Hatchet. Which one are you taking? The Romero Hatchet. Why? Why would you not?
It's better.
And it just makes the skins that you bought for those other variants completely null and void, because if you take the other version, you're doing yourself a disservice.
I don't like sniper skins because of that, because like it doesn't, like it can't be on the other guns. I wish it could be those skins would be on the other version of the gun.
I think I've heard brief rumors that they are working on something similar to that, hence why you see the Circus skin on multiple guns, and they were adding that one that was on the Bornheim as a legend or mythic as other ones. I still think the fucking system for having skins that are ranked as mythic, legendary is stupid as hell. Don't do that.
It's for them and their organization. That's the only reason.
And
they
for
do
their
it.
Pricing, as they said, in which case, you know.
And exclusivity towards Battle Pass and this and that. We know. Yada, yada, yada.
Rat, anything in particular?
I mean, I really kind of want to see the shredder get tuned a little more.
And maybe become something other than what it is.
Yeah, they nerfed it so fucking hard.
They really aren't the epitome of good ideas, in the sense that it could be balanced. I mean, the most balanced gun, in my humble opinion, in the whole game is the Vetterli. Hot take, maybe, but I think it's either extremely good or just mid. And I think that's kind of where guns need to be.
I mean, what about one of the Winnies? Do you think the Winnies are better than the Vetterli overall?
No, because I think arm shots are punished less on a Vetterli. And that's kind of my thing of arm shots aren't, the end all be all if you fuck up on a Vetterli. Because with a Mosin, of course, you're still hitting like a fucking freight train, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Winnies, it'll be like 4 armor leg shots. That thing is extremely punishing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Rat, you got your subject?
I do. So I figured I would see just how close to like I'm a big lore guy, and me and Hazmat have been talking a lot about the lore and like how much it's changed. And he's sent me a couple screenshots of the more recent Hunt Showdown lore for hunters, when you can find it. And I gotta say, it's not great. Me and him were just laughing about it. So I jokingly suggested that one of two things is happening. Either A, they're having AI write it, which is possible, even though he trained one for like 1,000 hours for AI just on the Hunt lore, and then had it write new lore, and it was actually better than what we're getting now. So here was my theory. Maybe they're doing doing Mad Libs, and I wrote one for you.
All right.
Yeah, so once upon a time, in a mountains, there lived a legendary hunter named the Drunken Bard. He was known for his incredible skills with the lamp. One fateful day, the Drunken Bard embarked on a quest to hunt down the most dangerous pigeon in the 6-star country. Armed with his trusty lamp, the Drunken Bard set out into the moist wilderness, determined to prove his worth as the greatest hunter of all time. Little did he know, his journey would lead him to face challenges beyond his wildest imagination. I could see it being in the game now.
I hate it.
Did you say that you wrote this or that you had AI write this?
So I first we had AI try to write regular lore, and it was better than what we're getting right now. So I found an AI Mad Libs generator and generated a Mad Lib.
Incredible.
Yeah, and so now we have the Drunken Bard with his trusty lamp in 6-star country, hunting the most dangerous pigeon.
Only 5-star recently. That 6-star country put my ass in the grass. All right. Well, goddamn, AI writing hunt lore is I hate to admit it, probably acceptable at this point.
I've got to
What
find
a-
the one that he had that was like trained for 1,000 hours on Hunt Showdown lore from like prior to the new lore team. 'Cause
I
it
would have
was,
argued
like, way
Is
good.
it really a new lore team, or is it just different?
it's kind of a new-ish lore team.
It's the
I've
focus, I
well
feel.
well it's been a lore team, and I believe they were focused on the old lore, and then they decided to eradicate it to make some kind of new lore, and it's not going well, Chief.
So if I remember correctly, it was around Serpent Moon was when the old lore team left.
I
And they
have
brought
high
in
hopes. Oh, go ahead, Rhett.
Yeah, if I remember right, either all or most of the original lore team is gone. And so the new lore team started, I want to say around either Devil's Moon or Serpent Moon. And that was around when you started to see the decline in like what felt like original hunt lore. And
It's hard to
so
really say because like events were so different, events are so different, content's so different, leadership's different, other than like creative director, monetization's different. It's hard to really say what actually truly caused it. So
Right.
that's just something that I would say.
All right, Colin. What are you feeling? What's your subject?
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Sorry.
Are you good?
So, we all have varying feelings on dualies, right?
Do we have varied feelings, or are we all similar vote?
I think we're pretty varied, actually. I think he's right.
Yeah, I think we're
Okay.
all pretty varied in our feelings. But if you had to bring like 2 medium slots using only dualies for an entire prestige, what guns would you bring with what ammo type and why?
Hmm.
Wow.
So just dualies.
Just
Are we
dualies.
talking about 4 dualies like I did one match?
Yes.
I did a prestige with this, so I get a really good opinion. First off, PAX is incredible. I never had a
Yes.
problem with PAX. Or
That's a good
Scottfield was a little more spread, and with PAX, I always took fire. That first or second shot just always hit so hard. With Scottfield's, it's not available anymore. I took bleed. I think medium makes the best dually, but I think that conversion chains were funny, and I took them with FMJ because if I didn't get
Yeah.
6 shots on you, the 7th one will probably hit you through the wall.
Are they chained or just the regular?
Oh, the chain. I said the chain.
Yeah. Those things were funny for sure.
All right, boys, what are you thinking?
I mean,
I'm-
I'd probably go with the packs similar to you, or the Bornheim, because I am trash with dualies, like no matter what. So the packs hit hard as a regular gun, and the Bornheim just shoots fast, and it's kind of fun. I think I recently got my first Bornheim dually kill for once.
See, and I'm a little torn because I've got 3 that I really like running dualies with. The first one being the New Army Swift. Like
Really?
it's surprisingly fun running the New
Wasn't
Army
that
Swift.
the joke about the new army being trash?
The joke is they called it in the No Harmy. but it's mainly because its bullet velocity. Like you probably could throw a rock faster than its bullet velocity.
Probably slower than subsonic.
Yeah, and I mean it's a lot of fun because of the fire rate if you get closer. The second one being the Bornheim for obvious reasons. Either the Bornheim or like the new army or not new army, the officer. And the one I generally run dualies with is the Lamat. If you run that with FMJ and have just the regular shotgun ammo,
Oh yeah.
it kicks so much ass.
Oh, yeah. Well, Colin, the mastermind, what are you
Yes.
taking?
So I've also done an only dualies prestige, and what I found was what worked best for me anyway was normal ammo, dual Bornheims, and dual Lamats, so that you have a huge compact ammo pool, so that you can just rapid fire Bornheims, but also have close range engagement shotguns with the Lamats.
Nice.
You're good.
Yeah, running the dualies honestly isn't too far off from my main loadout, which is either the Haymaker and dually Lamats or the Carbine and dually Lamats. And I always put the Star Shell into the Carbine or the Haymaker because that way I don't have to bring flares.
Hell
And,
yeah.
oh, it's so good.
I will say the only one that is absolute trash, dualies, people will be like the Dolch. I disagree. I got
no.
a spam headshot from I think 70 meters with dual Dolches.
Bro, what?
And the only one that's absolute garbage is dual uppercuts. It's
Oh,
atrocious.
yeah.
No,
Hilarious.
not worth it.
Absolute garbage. I've never had
Wait.
luck with it.
Dually Sparks pistol.
They're
they're
that-
fantastic.
That's good, actually.
They're
It's
so
so
good.
good.
it's good. It's just you only have 2 shots. That's
Yep.
its only downfall.
That's
Yeah,
the only
if you're taking
downfall.
dually Sparks, you have to have ambidextrous. With all of the other options,
Definitely.
it's kind of like, yeah, you probably should, but
Chain
it's
pistols
not.
you have to.
Oh yeah, chain pistols you definitely have to. But with all the other guns, it's like, I can pass without it. But
Yeah.
if you're doing dually Sparks, absolutely must have ambidextrous.
Definitely.
The like second or third time that I ran the dually Sparks pistol, I wish that I had known metal exists because I got a trio wipe and killed a solo at the boss compound, and like it was like every shot was hitting somebody. I got 2 headshots in a row, then I hit one guy in the body and missed the second shot. And then when I reloaded and like repositioned, he shot me in the body and I hit him in the head. And then the solo came up and I hit him and killed him with a headshot. It was insane.
I think I was with you for that. I remember that.
Yeah, it was like at the, I want to say bottom right compound with the sliding gate.
Yeah.
And the one dude opened the gate right as I shot and took him out. It was like it's crazy how good that gun is.
It's very good.
I did like that subject. That was great. All right. Anybody got any last minute thoughts, things they want to discuss just before? Okay. So I want to thank all of our honorary hunters. I would never get that wrong again. Sorry, John Cat. And I am very glad that they both of them, our fellow podcasts got episodes out recently. I realized that Waiting for Other Players got one out, and I had totally missed it. It was actually something I got to listen to, so it was nice. But now, 5 Minutes to Extract got another episode out. So glad they did. Go check it out, please, if you haven't already. I'm going to shout them out briefly again. I'm so sorry. But our honorary hunters, A Cunning Rogue, Big Monkey CNC, Call Me Roy, Dr. Soda, Drake, Element, Glonky Pete, Gumbo John, Hans, Hazmat, Jay Tizzle, Kit, Chris, Kugisaki, Mama Bear Streams, Mimic, Gray, Penguin, and Sway. You guys are all amazing, and we appreciate you so much. And I want to thank every single one of you for listening to this episode. And as always, Richard,
Stay hunting.
stay hunting, everyone.
I'm staying. Fuck.
Wow.
Colin, give us an outro.
Thank you all so much for watching, and if you liked it, hit the like button.
Wow.
Bye.
Nice.
Nice.
Love you, bye.